Back now on Triad today. So glad to have these good folks with us again. Lori Bates, our director. Let's meet our special friends from Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina. Next to me, of course, Tempe Albright, who's been on the show before. She's manager of business advisory councils. Craig Smith is community outreach specialist, Mallard Ridge, both for Goodwill Industries, Northwest North Carolina. Welcome to the program.
Glad to be here.
I know y'all are always busy, and thanks for taking time to drive over and be here with us. Tempe, just give me the sort of Webster's Dictionary thing here of what Goodwill's business advisory councils are. When you say BACs, what do you mean?
Our business advisory councils are just that. We use them for advice on telling us what we need to do as far as training for our participants. Also, we use them to give advice to our participants, whether they go into the classes or help them prep for job fairs. So we're always using them for advice.
Right. Craig, how does that work specifically when Tempe's talking about giving advice and helping out? I mean, do they come in on a regular basis, or how is it set up?
We generally meet once a month, and we have different topics of conversation that we discuss. And oftentimes we find out what Goodwill is pursuing, and then they also discuss with us what do we need. You know, specifically for me in the assisted living community, when we're training CNAs or having CNAs trained, what needs do we have? And specifically when they're coming out of the training, are those needs being met, or are we seeing some deficiencies there? If we realize there's a deficiency in an area, then I can meet with Tempe and the people there in the BAC, and then we can discuss how we overcome that. So when these people come out, they're better trained. Right. And not only they're better trained, where it's a plus for them, but it benefits me, and that when they come to Mallard Ridge, they're ahead of the game oftentimes.
Absolutely, and I think that's a good partnership. Now, what are some of the projects and accomplishments of the business advisory councils?
We have one of our BAC members, he actually does networking workshops. He works for Sandler Training and donates his time for networking workshops. And then we do what we call a mock networking event. And we bring in our BAC members and our students so they can, practice makes perfect. Sure. So they get to practice networking, because nowadays how you get that job is not the old-fashioned way.
Well, Craig, Tempe might have answered part of this one, but I'm going to throw at you, which is, what are the benefits of being a member of the council itself?
Well, for me, there's definitely some professional benefits. You know, the networking itself, meeting people throughout different industries, understanding what's happening through the industry as a whole. Oftentimes in my position, I focus primarily on assisted living, but I get to see what's happening, in home health, what's happening in independent living, what's happening in skills. So it gives me an overview over the profession as a whole. It lets me see where training is headed. It gives me some foresight to see where maybe we need to make some changes and where we need to go. And then the personal benefit of it, being with the BAC and knowing that I have input every month that's going to change somebody else's life, and it's going to make a difference for that person individually. And several years ago, that's what really sold me on the BAC, is what can I do with Goodwill, not so much to help me professionally, even though there's great professional benefits to it, but personally, when I sit down, at the end of the day, I go home knowing that I've been able to help somebody.
Tempe, that's a great testimonial.
And, yeah, and he backs what he says. Yeah, he's really helped.
We ought to put him on a poster or something, because that was a great testimonial. Tempe, how do I become a member of a business advisory council? Because Craig's already told me how great it is, and so I'm watching this segment at home, and I'm thinking, I might want to get involved in that myself. How do you do that?
It's real simple. You just attend a meeting, and I believe we have a website.
Yeah, we're going to put that up in just a second.
And just attend a meeting, get a feel for it. Also, you can be as involved as you want to.
That's what I was going to ask you, because if you're talking about giving advice to people or being active in this thing, I guess the question people ask is how many hours a week or how many hours a month, but there's no set time, right?
Yeah, that's the good thing. You get to set how much involvement you want to do. I've actually had BAC members who told me I was not using them enough. And I said, let me work on that.
Up on screen, as Tempe said, I want to show you this, goodwillbac.org. Now, usually we give you the generic Goodwill website, but this is a specific one about the Business Advisory Council, 724-3621. And thank both of you for being here. Tempe from Goodwill, Craig Smith from Mallard Ridge. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.